back in 2017, I was home with my daughter, and she wasn't feeling well. So she was home from school that day. And I just decided to take her to the mall to just kind of get out of the house. And, so I mean, I'm fine. We were literally walking, and I felt like somebody literally just kind of poked me on the breast. And at first, I kind of just looked around because I thought maybe, somebody had, jabbed you or whatever. And no, nothing like that had happened. And I just kind of continued having pain every time we walked. And so I decided that I needed to go get a mammogram done. I was only 42 at the time, so I'd only had one before. And so I went and had my mammogram done, and they called me back and asked me to come and do, I think, to repeat the mammogram or to do a four-dimensional test. And I just knew in my bones, in my soul, that something was wrong. And so, fast forward to the repeat, to the sonogram, to the biopsy on February 1st, 2017, the day before my husband's birthday. We were diagnosed with breast cancer. And I say we because it's not a solo, I am married with a family, so it's a we thing. And so, yeah, I was diagnosed with it. But, I look back at that horrific moment when I got the news, but then I also see God's hand through it. Why would you say that? So I'm a nurse, I work nights, and when I come home and I go to sleep, like I'm passed out. And that particular day that they called with the results, I was fast asleep. Dean was at work, and he never comes home during the day. He goes to work, he comes home in the evenings. And literally, when I was on the phone getting that news, he walked through the bedroom door. First of all, I heard the phone ringing, which is just amazing. And then as I'm sitting there getting the news, here comes my husband walking through the door. Now tell me, isn't that a godsend? Getting to me one of the most horrible news in my life, and my partner, my sidekick, my support partner was right there. So that is a godsend. So yeah, we got the news. It's interesting. I had known no one with breast cancer before myself, except for a coworker. And she was like immediately the only person that I could turn to. So I gave her a call, and she advised me to call a lady by the name of Deborah, who is a breast navigator at my hospital at the time. And so I gave her a call, and she set up an appointment for Dean and I. And she went through my diagnosis, broke down the pathology report. I'm not an oncology nurse, so I'm not familiar with the terms. I'm not familiar with treatment plans, that kind of thing. And so she met with Dean and myself and, laid out the options that would have been available. So by the time we met with the surgeons, and it felt like such a whirlwind, just having one doctor to now having three doctors in your life, we were prepared. We knew exactly what we wanted to do. We knew possibilities, just everything. So we were just prepared. So to me, that again is a godsend, having to, this person that could explain everything and guide you through this process. And so, yeah. So then we ended up having surgery March 2nd of 2017, and then 6 rounds of chemo, tamoxifen, which is, it's a chemo agent, but it's a hormone replacement or hormone suppressor, excuse me, that people with certain types of breast cancer have to be on for a certain number of years to help reduce that risk of it returning. So that's the first half of the story. So after that initial treatment, chemo and everything, we do, well, my treatment plan, and just know that every treatment plan is different. Every physician has a different plan for their patients, even with it being the same type of cancer. But my treatment plan included every 3 months, I would go for labs. And based on those labs, they would check my white count to check if I had infections. They would check my chemistry levels to see if my potassium, my labs were fine. I would also check tumor markers. And those tumor markers, if they were elevated from the normal, then your physician would now want to probably do a CAT scan to see if something is going on, or a PET scan to see if something is going on. So for like 2 years, every 3 months, I lived in 3 month cycles of getting labs done. And then I graduated to 4 months. I was kind of pushing it to 6 months, but he said, slow your horses, girl. Let's just be, slow, because my cancer was considered an aggressive type. And so we kept a very close eye on it. It's interesting. You'd think that you would never forget certain things, but mine was invasive ductal carcinoma, which means that it was no longer capsulated, because it can be fully capsulated, it can be out of the capsule, can be throughout the body. Mine was out of the capsule. So invasive, meaning that it could be anywhere else in my body. But life never goes back to the same. At least I don't think that. Somebody else may believe that, especially if they go back to looking the way they did and there are no visible signs of what you've been through. My hair never grew back. And I shouldn't say never. It grew back around the edges, but nothing really here. Not sexy, as I like to say. And so I struggled with that. I wore a cover up for 5.5 years. 5.5 years. There were times when I would just get frustrated and just say, Dean, just shave it off. But for the most part, I always wore a cover up to work, to church, a scarf. It was hard, but, I wore it. I was never ashamed, a little scared sometimes, a little sad. I mean, it's reality. As a woman, that power, that choice of wanting to have my hair was taken away from me. And I no longer had a choice. I hasten to say, others may say, well, just wear a wig. I'm not a wig person. No, I'm not a wig person. So kudos to the person that can wear a wig. I don't find it offensive. It's just me. Remember, we're all different. We all have our experiences, and a wig was just not me. And so I never wore a wig.